Hey everyone, it's Irish Veve here, back to bring you another video. This video is going to be a little bit different. A couple of people have asked me recently about Veve, the app. They hear me talking about it on social media. They want to watch some of my videos, and they're asking me, "Oh, hey, what's this about? Can you explain in a bit more detail? I hear you can make money off this thing. How can I make money?" And that seems to be their primary goal or focus, which is understandable. I guess people have heard about the success of the crypto, Bitcoin in particular, over the years. People are hearing about NFTs selling for silly money, and maybe they want to get it in on that at the ground level. So it's not strange to me that people's first motivation is how can I make money on this. That was ultimately my main motivation to get into it as well. I think that's changed a little bit, but ultimately my main goal is to profit and make money from the app. So it's important to note if you're starting off in the app, or even if you're an existing Veve user, what does making money look like to you? Do you want to make money today, tomorrow, in a month, in 6 months, in 2 years? So it's important to have realistic goals, aspirations around the app, have your own targets, have your own strategies. And what I'm going to talk about today is maybe some short term strategies or tips you could use to make money in the short term, and some other tips and strategies you can use to make money in the medium term. Okay, I'm not going to discuss the long term in this video. Okay, so short term return is like when you can get a return within a day or within a week. Medium term return is 3 to 6 months. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So with that in mind, um, let's go back to the start here. Okay, short-term gains within the app. So I have 3 tips or strategies for some short-term gains. Okay, so number one, max buy every single comic book drop that you can. So at the moment, anyway, comic book drops are huge EV. I'm not going to break down the numbers here. I've done my work on it, but they're massively positive EV, expected value. Okay, so if you're fortunate enough to snag a secret rare, it goes for bonkers money compared to what you paid for it. Like, each comic is 7 gems. A secret rare can be anything from like 1.1, 1.2 gems up to like 11, sorry, 1.1, 1.2k up to 12k. I think the 12k is kind of the exception to the rule. It was Marvel Comics issue 1, so I'd say around 2k is probably going to be the average for a secret rare for the time being in the comic. So there's a huge chance there to get mass return. A friend of mine bought his first comic on the app last week. He bought 1 comic and he picked up an ultra rare, and it was worth 200 gems to him, from his 7 gem investment. Okay, so max buy every single comic book drop that you can. They're going to become harder and harder to get. I know in the first drop I think I was able to get 6 comics, and then yesterday for the Hulk drop I only managed to get 2. So they're definitely getting harder to get. I think in a month's time there'll be a situation where I try and get a comic and I just can't get one. I can't get a single one in a drop. So now is the kind of the golden age of comics on the app. The comics on the app have obviously brought in these other people to the app, people from the comic book world, which is fantastic, and that's where all the movement, all the actions happening at the moment on the app. Okay, so number one, max buy every single comic book drop that you can. Number two, focus on collectibles that are stable but fluctuate in price by approximately 15 to 20 gems. I'll get to what that looks like in a minute. Okay, and then number three is look out for the drops that are low amount of minted items. Okay, so we just have come out of Marvel month where all the drops were very high mints. We had a Star Trek drop where the mint numbers were quite high, but we do know in September we're going to get Labbit Series 2. So to put that into context, Labbit Series 1, the Ultra Rare, had 888 minted. He was 40 gems, and I think now he's about 1.1, 1.2k. The Labbits are quite likely some of the first NFTs on the platform that you'll be able to take off the app and onto the likes of the OpenSea marketplace. So there's a huge potential for return on the Labbits and similar drops So watch out for them. I think we're going to get one drop in that format per month. So kind of like an independent artist, like Jerome Rogers, Frank Kozliak. I hope I pronounced his name right with Labbits. I think once per month they're going to be one of those drops, and I'm definitely going to go after any of those drops that I can. Okay, so that's short-term gains. So now, what do I talk about? What am I on about with focus on collectibles that are stable, fluctuate price? So I've been doing a bit of work in the marketplace, and I'll give you an example. So I've latched onto Ecto 1 as an example, okay? And here's a bit of movement in my account in the last couple of days. So I'd say this is all over the last 7 to 9 days, okay? So I've noticed the price on Ecto 1 fluctuates anywhere down kind of 150 to as in the floor price could go down to 150 or 170 or 172 of a floor, and it's fairly consistent in that regard. The initial price for Ecto 1 is 120, so it's never really going to go drop down that low or anywhere close to that. So with that in mind, I got in the habit of checking Ecto 1 price quite often, and my rule is anything I see under 160 gems I buy and I flip. Okay, so these are a couple of transactions. I miraculously picked up one for 130 gems. I don't know how. About a week and a half ago, and I sold it for 157.46. Now the 157.46 that already includes the 2.5%. Okay, so I actually sold it for whatever what else 162, 163 gems, and I yielded a profit of 27.46. So 27.46 into 130 is probably around 20%, a little over 20%, 21.5% profit. Next, I bought another one for 156. I sold it for 167.60, so profit 11.6, so about an 8%, 7.5, 8% profit on that one. And this one I bought it for 145, sold it for 161.85, profit 16.85, so that's an over 10% profit, so it's around a 12-13% profit. So total profit for that week was 55.91. That's nuts. That's just from buying one collectible over and over and selling it. And my rule is only set on one Ecto 1. My bankroll is relatively small. I don't want to be clogging it up by loads of Ecto 1s, for example. But as my bankroll got bigger, I'll be able to scale this out and apply this strategy across a couple of NFTs. This is just one FT that I looked into, and I liked the way it was fluctuating and it was steady. I haven't looked into the other NFTs yet. Like, I literally just delved into Ecto 1. So, like, there's loads and loads of stuff out there that you can get fixated on, focus on the price, be able to identify a good buy it quickly because it will sell quickly. Like that 130, I don't know how I was lucky enough to snag it because that would have been gone within minutes. So just know the price, pick your key collectibles, know the price, know that what's well below floor. And anything that goes, 10, 15, 20% below the regular floor price, snap it up. In particular on the morning of drop day. So on the morning of the Star Trek drop, I think I bought that one for 145. So someone was desperate to get some gems to buy Star Trek, so they started selling off their assets. Okay, so that's how you can make money in the day to day in the app. Take some work. And there's a small amount of risk in it. I would say very, very small, but it does take work. So you shouldn't get gems for free. It should take some work. Medium-term gains with the acquisition strategies tips. So number one is complete the cheap full sets and hold them. That's definitely a strategy that I've endorsed from the start. So for example, I have Mighty Marvel Season 1, Mighty Marvel Season 2. Soon enough I'll have that full Ecto 1 set. I have my eyes on the hoverboards at some point in time, and I'm just going to hold those sets. It's going to help me in the Master Collector program, and then that's going to yield return for me as well, so that's why I'm doing it. Number two is buy up the vehicles. A little bit speculative here, but we'll get to that in a minute. Buy up the vehicles, hold the vehicles, whatever your bankroll allows. And number three, hold your common comics if you don't need to liquidate them. So if you max buying a comic book drop, let's say you snag 3 comics as 21 gems, don't just sell them off for 5 gems each and make a loss on it. Things to look for, look for low mints. So for example, in the last Hulk drop I got 2 commons, but I made a good profit because one of them was a low mint, so I could sell it for 20, 26, 27 gems. So I sold that one, kept the other one. So hold your common comics unless you need to liquidate them. So what I mean by that is, if you put only a small amount of gems, let's say you put 50 gems into the app, you only buy comics, the next comic drop is coming, you want to just sell your assets, liquidate those assets into gems so you can buy the next drop, and rinse and repeat and make small losses along the way potentially. So if you don't need to free up at some gems, then don't sell the commons. Yeah, just hang on to them. They will appreciate in the medium to long term. Okay, now with the vehicles, vehicles are going to be huge on the app. Okay, comics have really taken off. The new AR readers just come into play today. It looks incredible, absolutely insane. Okay, so comics are getting some really nice treatment at the moment. Vehicles are a big part of the strategy for Veve. They've said this on numerous times, numerous occasions. Okay, they're going to be big. They're going to get some TLC. They're going to get upgrades down the line. And I want to show you this. So this is what they're going to be like. So this is some beta footage. So this is the DeLorean here. As you can see, it's in AR and it's remote control. That's freaking sweet. So when that feature comes on, any vehicle that's on the app is just going to appreciate and value, you know, and especially the OG, like the DeLorean and the Ecto one. So there are my tips for some medium-term gains on the app and some short-term gains. Let me know what you think. Maybe you're already using some of these strategies. Leave me a comment below, like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon.